Hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Megan and I go to St Peter's Church along with my husband Kia, who some of you might have seen playing the keyboard, and our two little boys, Joel and Reuben. And I've been asked today to share a thought for the day, so a Bible verse that has meant something to me or that God has used to speak to me at some point. So I'm going to use a verse that God has brought back to my mind on quite a few occasions throughout my faith journey. And it first spoke to me powerfully probably about 11 years ago now, when I was talking to a good friend of mine who had recently become a Christian, and he was facing quite a lot of persecution from his family because of his new faith. And he actually was the one who pointed this Bible verse out to me, and it led to quite a long discussion, and then we prayed about it for each other, that each one of us would live this out in our lives and our walk with God. So the Bible verse that I want to share to you today is Hebrews chapter 10, verse 23. So I'll just read it. It says, "Let us hold unswervingly to the hope that we profess, for he who promised is faithful." Yeah, and it's a verse, like I say, that I encountered quite a few years ago, and God just brings it back to my mind every now and again. And it does two things really for me. It serves as an encouragement that God is faithful, that all the promises that he promises to us, he will deliver. It's not just something that he said on a whim or something that we can kind of put a little bit of hope that it might happen in, but we're told that he is faithful and he will deliver. And the promises that come to mind for me are things like his unconditional love, that he promises that he will love us. No matter how much we mess up, he will still love us, and he'll have those open arms like a loving father. And he'll accept us as we are, because he made us and he loves us. He'll forgive us. He'll always forgive us if we turn to him. He'll never leave us. And he promises an eternal life with him. And that's just a few of the things that when I think of this verse and I think of God being faithful, of the promises that he's promised, they're the things that I think of. And he's somebody that we can completely put our trust into. We don't need to be fearful that we might mess up, and he'll change his mind and think, actually, those promises aren't for you anymore. And even when things aren't going well and the world seems like it's been completely turned on its head, like it has felt like in the last few months really, these promises still stand. Nothing that God has said has changed. He's still the same God, and his promises are still the same. And the second thing that it does really is it serves as a huge challenge to me. So the first part of the verse is to hold unswervingly to the hope that we profess. So that for me it's quite a tall order really. It's to hold unswervingly means to not look in any other direction, to cling onto it really with dear life, to not be distracted by things in the world, but to just keep holding on to that hope. And it's not something that naturally happens, I don't think. It's not something that you can just naturally do every day. For me, it's something that I need to remind myself to do. When things get difficult or sad, or even when things are good, it's so easy to get distracted and to begin to think that there's other places that we can put our hope in, that there's other ways that we can feel happy, accepted or loved or at peace. But this verse always brings me back, and God uses it to remind me where my focus should be. It reminds me to get my Bible out, to find those promises that God has said, and to pray that God would help me to hold on to him. Because like I say, it's not something that we can actually do on our own. But yeah, it serves for me as an encouragement and also as a challenge. And it is a verse that God has used at various points in my life just to refocus me and to remind me of who he is and what place he should have in my life. So hopefully that's been a bit of an encouragement for anybody listening, and hopefully I will see some of you soon. Bye.